Okay, so welcome to the meeting today. The meeting is to welcome Coty, preparing our two symposium, reporting on various ResWell VUCA research program, and discussion on who could be the next monthly speakers. It should be with an S actually, for upcoming months. Okay, Coty, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, so it's a great pleasure to be here. I think, one of the very first group of that Spanish tribe, and I arrived to the Mental Wellness Society like 3 or 4 years ago, and it was a great honor and a great place for meeting very interesting people, professional and personal. I started my studies as a biologist. Then I finished my degree, my MA in microbiology. And then I decided that I was more interested in the connection mind and body. So I started with holistic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, and neuro-linguistic programming, transformational therapy, neurofeedback. And this was a great point. And now what I'm trying to do, what I do now, is to help people to overcome those blocks that stand in their way to have the lives they deserve to live and they want to live. And this is what I'm doing through hypnosis and regression. A lot of my work is doing hypnosis and regression. People are very afraid of this, but there is nothing to be afraid of. And I'm working as in the Spanish television also. It's now it's 17 years ago I have my program, and I have 30 years of experience working with teenagers and adults in groups for growing personally, emotionally, and spiritually. So this is more or less my
Thank you.
profile.
I will add that you do hypnosis, regression hypnosis, even online, and you are very successful at doing that.
Thank you.
And you are a good example, you are a good friend, but you are a good example of using not just one method, but having different method, and that's why you will be speaking about that at the STAR conference. So
That's it.
you are really somebody interested to look at the synergy of different practice. In the past month in Israel, I have seen that one technique is not enough. We are doing the sound, we are doing the frequencies, we are doing psychology, we are doing this, we are doing that. One is not enough. And when I see the situation in Israel, I see that the major things we need is definitely to be able to have the development of trust, trust and hope. Because trust, for example, and it's very interesting because if you look at the program like 12 Step for Alcoholic Anonymous, 12 Step for Sex Addict, 12 Step for Obese Anonymous, they all start with one common denominator: to trust in a higher authority, namely God, who will help you to change where you are and which will be helping you. And I think the trust is very important, number one, because trust gives hope. And in what I see in the recent weeks here, I see that the situation is becoming more and more difficult, not in Israel, in Spain, in France, in other countries. And I think that we start to see that the necessity is to find new ways to be able to connect with the people. And it's not one way. it's multimodal.
Mhm.
So with that said, I will go here. We wanted to update about the research project. Maybe if Manana join, we'll do it later about the language
Yes,
resilience.
she's joining in like 2 minutes.
We'll do it after. I will start with mine. In Israel, we are monitoring and trying to help the best we can in the situation, which is becoming with at least 150,000 PTSD cases, maybe more, in a small country of 8 million, 7 million inhabitants, with already 4,000 people who lose a limb or two. And we are confronted, for example, on something called the phantom limb problem. They still found the arm which is cut, which is still painful. And we are doing an intervention. Our group have made a connection with a group of kinesiotherapists and physical therapists going to visit the military base. And with that group, we have been able to help already 10,000 soldiers since the beginning of the war. But we received donation in equipment like Resimax and other equipment, and we are starting to receive more and more equipment. I will tell you that at the end. And the equipment is very important for us because it shows one more time we need innovative approach and we need multimodal approach. Also, there have been surveys in Israel, and there is the engagement of the people to support is lower than when it started. And that's a phenomenon we see everywhere. So with the duration, there is what we call the war fatigue. And with the war fatigue, there is less engagement of people. So that's something we start to see. But we have seen, we were at a ResWell meeting a week ago, and there was presentation on the situation in the Baltic, situation in Israel, and they were showing statistics and metrics on census about resilience. And we realized that they don't take in consideration what we do, resilience to VUCA. And this is a very important element because you are not talking about resilience just to the war, because the context and that's what we see with the military, they come back from military and they come back in a situation which is a VUCA world. So that is one of the big things we see. And we are getting more equipment and more material. That about the two. Anna, you have any news on the monitoring? I'm sorry, on the tool to measure resilience on VUCA. Any news, Anna, or later, another time? Anna Jacome, Rosenfeld.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have my child with a loose tooth and she's bleeding.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's very difficult to focus.
So take care of her, but you are still working on the project, right?
I am still, but I don't have anything to present. I've been working on the conference,
Okay,
but I am still,
that's okay.
so
No
just a little
problem.
more time.
No problem. So when Manana joined, we'll come back on the language of resilience. Something new. Something new is for resilience. It's a good news I can announce. We received today a donation of roughly $150,000 for those helmets which can make a diagnostic, a map of the brain and the treatment, and make a picture before after every treatment, which is 30 minutes. And we receive that to help in Israel. So we are getting helmet and we have the possibility to measure. And it works not just for brain trauma, physical brain trauma. It works for PTSD. it works for anxiety, it works for schizophrenia, it works for a lot of psychological problems. So we will tell you more, but we are very happy to have a leading technology supporting what we do. And so that's good news. So our VUCA things is really about volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and hyperconnectivity. And the hyperconnectivity is a big effect because now we see in corporations that's new since COVID. There was before COVID 13 to 19% of the executive and people working in corporation, not production, not factory, but corporate. 13 to 19% of people working online. It's 90% now. So they make an economy on space. They don't give any more money to travel. They don't give any more money to move. And the people have to produce being alone. And you don't have what we had before, what we call the water fountain or the coffee machine schmoozing. There is no human relation. And this is what we see with the H of VUCA. The more you spend time on your computer, the more a part of your brain becomes numb, and particularly the social interaction, your social skill. And that is part of the problem we see everywhere, which maintain the VUCA PTSD after COVID. It's even aggravating it more and more. So now the executives are in company and they suffer those things. And they suffer those things with also a difficulty to connect. So there is everywhere we see now we start to get involved in corporation or corporate consulting. And they say, we don't know how to get them engaged. They cannot decide. They feel very tired. They are burned out. Of course, the company is not sure of how long it will exist. And everybody knows now that he has a job for what? For 5 years. But in his career, he will have to change 5, 6 times. There is anxiety. There is uncertainty. The whole result is that the people have a lot of problems now to function normally. Hi, Manana. So it seems to be that this slide
I mixed hours, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. This slide is the most valuable document we have produced so far because it really shows the difference between each element, the symptomatic problem of each element, and the psychologically and physiologically. So the idea now is to make a questionnaire. Maybe we will speak about that with Anna Jacome or other of our colleagues. But the idea is to make a questionnaire with questions which will help us to see, do you have problems to decide? Sometimes, often, never, for example. Do you wake up more tired when you wake up than when you go to bed? Sometimes, often, never. Some key questions will help us to see if the people have a problem related to what is the principal cause of their problem. Is it volatility, uncertainty, and so on? That will help us tremendously because we will see that it's not the same for everybody. So that's one of the ideas I am proposing. Key in everything is health and wellness, mind and body. It's very obvious that for what we call heart plasticity, heart variability, but the breathing, the movement, the sleep, but the health and wellness is definitely something very important for resilience. You remove health and wellness, it's extremely difficult. We have an analytic online, free, and we see that many people who have a psychological problem, they have a difficulty to get hold on themselves. And if we help them on health and wellness to regain a control on health and wellness, it helps them to regain control on the psychological issue. So that's something we need to reinforce, that the fact that the solution to VUCA is definitely mind and body holistic approach. We also do education. We have now a curriculum for 6 to 9 years old and 10 to 13 years old. It's 2 beautiful books here, 222 pages, and it's really step-by-step curriculum how to help to develop not just resilience, it's not just, but the components of resilience, which is enhancing impulse control and frustration tolerance, enriching self-empowerment and resilience, and acquiring internal locus of control. That's the 3 main things. If we do that, the kids know how to deal with bullying, and we do that in a school to prevent them to go in the street and become a gang member or to work on drug. The director of that school will be presenting with us in the English symposium the result we have. And the curriculum is a curriculum for teachers, but we already have seen that we need to help the teacher to develop the concept of resilience and I would say mindful resilience. And we are in the process of training the teacher. Without training the teacher, there is not a curriculum which works. So the key is you have a choice. It's a binary choice. And the choice is you end up where you look. What do you see? Do you see the problem or do you see a solution? If you see the problem, you need to look at the solution. That was my research at Carnegie Mellon. But it's to regain internal locus of control. And that's what we see as a problem of soldier coming back from the military. To be a good soldier, you need to give up your internal locus of control. You need to do what you are told to do. You need to do the mission. You need to just follow the order. Well, after 30 days, a bad habit became ingrained. And after 30 days, you become used to act without locus of control. That was a problem of COVID. And that is a problem in America of all the Army retirees who are 45 years old. They are trained by Uncle Sam to take a job, but they cannot decide something for themselves. They can do, tell me what to do. Well, life is not anymore, tell me what to do. So we need to develop that. And we have found in Israel that we have developed a program for military coming back. And we have found that we need more help and support to the wife of the military. Because the wife of the military are now dealing with a guy coming back with not behaving as a sweet husband, and they want to divorce to protect their family. So we are now working on strategy to help the wife as a support woman support group to help the wife to deal with the guy. Basically, they need to understand it's not about them. They need to understand, and that's where the language of resilience will be very useful, because we see that there is a need for the wife to communicate, be patient. We need to develop a protocol for the wife of the soldier coming back to normal life. So there is some choice. There is a choice which limits your hope, and there is a decision that have hope. And that is really where we concentrate with the people, is what we do in Israel. And that's the way to obtain resilience, no matter what is their problem. We also work on mindful choice. You know that the product we develop, but we have evaluated. We have spent 20 years to say we are not mindfulness. And then we realized that stupid we were, we are the continuation of mindfulness. Mindfulness is, in fact, to have to be able to see what happened and to have awareness of yourself on the situation. But it does not help to make the choice. So you need to make a choice where you can look and make a choice in a better decision making, which is not influenced by your emotion. And our whole method is based on something very simple. If I change the way you think, it will change the way you feel and the way you act. And we have seen that lately, bringing that way give us a much more, I would say, much more traction. So this is what we do in case you want to know what I do. So we have the for-profit company here and the not-for-profit company, including the Resilience and Wellbeing Foundation, which, by the way, the Resilience and Wellbeing Foundation receives the helmet, receive material for Israel. We are now at $180,000 in donation. And we are raising money now to help to pay the practitioners to give free treatment for the people who cannot afford it or who are not insured. So we are continuing that. And the Resilience and Wellbeing Foundation is the organization who is paying for your participation at the symposium in July. Because each of you have to be registered. I am going to process that, and it's done by the Resilience and Wellbeing Foundation. So, preparation of symposium. I send a letter to the organizer, and I ask him what day will be the symposium. We want to know what day. 2, we want to know when day will be a symposium. We want to make it compatible with Italy, Spain, Israel, because it's in North Carolina. And I want to know if they need to receive each presentation and when. So I'm waiting for the answer. They are not too quick in the answer, but as soon as I have, I give it to you. 2 symposium. The English symposium, Dr. Leisman will speak about resilience and neuroscience. So he will really, he will really give the information on making the difference, how the psychological influence the psychological and psychological influence the physiological and the vulnerability and the problem in VUCA time. And you have seen his presentation one time, I believe. Is a fantastic presenter. Salome, who is not here with us today, in Georgia, will speak about resilience and positive parenting during crisis. And she will speak about the role of education for resilience. Giulia Petruzzi will share her experience with the 6 to 9 and 10 to 13 using our curriculum, which is about resilience. And I will tie up about the holistic approach to resilience, which includes psychology, iconic communication, diagnostic, treatment, innovative research and technology, and enabling organization for resilience, which is ResWell, Mental Wellness Society, and now the Resilience Foundation. Spanish group. Coty is presenting a holistic approach, integrating psychology, iconic communication, diagnostic treatment. So basically, she is speaking about the multimodal. She is speaking about the Mental Wellness Society. And one of you choose whether you want will have to speak about ResWell. I am asking you three, because you are the presenter for that. Which one of you want to speak about ResWell? It's a question.
Yes,
Begging for an
I
answer.
don't know. They can choose Annunziata or Anna. If you want to talk about ResWell,
I will give you the content. Anna, Annunziata,
Yes, I could.
okay.
Anna. Okay, Anna.
Yeah.
Anna ResWell. I will work with you on that. So Anna will speak about preventing and coping with vicarious and shared trauma, about interventionists and educators. We'll speak about COVID, crisis in Middle East, and I think you speak about the resilience amid such circumstances, and highlighting the danger of poor sleep, traumatic anxiety, which cannot only affect professionals, but be transferred to those they serve. And I think you receive a booklet about field care, correct, to prevent tunnel vision effect. I think it should be part of that.
Yes, I have it.
Okay. And I think which one of you will speak about technology? The new technology, just one or two slides. Anna,
I can do, or you, Anna, because you are working now with.
what do you think? Anna or Coty?
Anna,
Either way.
Or Annunziata if she
for
wants.
me. But I think I don't know if I'm wrong, but I think Annunziata is not so much connected emotionally to all those techniques. Am I wrong, Annunziata? Do you want to talk about techniques?
Technology, just one or
Yes.
two slides. Prego.
¿Me puedes escuchar o no? Nuncia. Estás en mute.
Ah. Can you repeat, please?
One of you will have, like I do in my presentation, to speak about innovative technology for resilience and well-being. So I was asking if it's Coty or Anna or you, Annunziata.
Para hablar sobre la tecnología que está desarrollando la validación científica. Sí.
Innovation.
Historia sobre el BAUD o este casco de iSync.
Yo personalmente, Nuncia, pienso que Ana o yo lo podemos hacer porque Ana está trabajando con el BAUD y yo trabajé con el BAUD también.
Yes, for the reason, because I don't have experiences.
Sí.
So, which one, Coty or Anna?
Ana, ¿quieres hacerlo tú?
Ok.
Ok, y si no,
Sí.
si no, yo puedo hacer el anterior, el ResWell, y tú haces este.
Ok, cualquiera de los
Venga,
dos.
I will do
Sí, sí.
ResWell and she will do technological side aspect.
Technology. I will work with you. I will give you every element, and Coty will do ResWell. I will do ResWell with you, Coty.
Wonderful.
Good. Annunziata will speak about the role and importance of educational training and career guidance, fostering resilience. I think it's a very good subject because it shows the importance of training. And so, any question about that, anybody? No? So, Annunziata have accepted next month to speak as a guest speaker to present a PowerPoint of what she will be presenting, basically in North Carolina, and also about a short question and answer. Okay, Annunziata?
Yes.
But we are looking for presenters for the month after that. So do you, Anna or Koti, do you feel interested to make a presentation another month about what you do?
Which month exactly?
Could be July, could be August, could be September.
I prefer September or later on, because now in the summertime for me it's a little bit complicated.
Okay, Anna, you have something to say? You can say in July to present what you do on your work.
Not really.
Okay. So we'll speak another time. So what about, I was thinking to ask Neville, who is involved in corporate resilience or corporation, to speak in July. Do you think that will be interesting?
It was about to ask Neville.
Corporate resilience.
Oh, okay, I think it's very, very important.
Mia, what do you think?
I agree.
Good. So we have June, Annunziata. We have Neville in July and Coty in September. Okay. I don't know if we should have a meeting in August. What do you think? Because many people in August are not available.
Yeah, for me it will be complicated.
Annunziata, same?
For me, it's impossible because I work in August out of Italy. And
No, for the monthly meeting, for our monthly meeting, do we keep the meeting in August or do we vacate in August and start again in September?
I prefer vacate in August.
Maybe vacate. Yes, I'm
Yes.
moving in August.
Okay. We do that. Done. Done. So, Manana, no news? Yeah. Manana. Manana is here. Manana, do you have anything? Number one, I want to present to our colleague in Georgia my deepest support and sympathy, because you are facing a difficult situation. And I hope everything will be, I don't know if it will be calm. I don't know if it will, but hopefully peaceful. And I wish you a better situation.
We still hope for peace.
I'm sorry?
We still hope that maybe everything will be okay.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation. We know that type of situation. So that's different. But at least you have 50% of the people outside your world which will support you. And maybe more. And maybe more. Bon.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a luxury. Can you tell us a little bit more about the language of resilience?
Yes, you know, I will now try to open. I have compiled some PowerPoint presentation, and I will try to.
I can make you presenter. Good.
Yeah.
Let me make you presenter.
Yeah, but I don't know how should I do it. Only
just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute.
Okay.
You are co-host, and you just say share screen.
Okay. Share content or share screen? Share content.
Yes, share screen.
Screen. Everything on your screen.
On
now
the lower part of the screen, you have a green button. which says share screen.
I will try now.
Okay.
Screen photos, Drive, Google Drive, yeah, this one. Yes, and I think.
But we don't see your
no.
screen yet.
Yes, I'm trying to. I'm not very good, you know, at this
Mia,
things.
Mia, can you help Manana to explain her how to do it?
I will go to Drive and.
Mia, can you tell
Oh,
her in Georgian?
I
how-
opened it.
Yeah, but you need
oh,
to click
yeah. Now,
on share screen.
do you now?
You need to share.
Do you
screen.
see?
No, we don't.
არ ჩანს. აი
No.
ქვემოთ რომ არის წვანედ რომ არის
About ნახავ ეხლა.
shares
Shared content, oh? მას ვაიმე რაღაცები. მია რო გამოვაგზავნო.
მე გამომიგზავნეთ და მე გავაზიარებ მაშინ.
აი ხა გამოვაგზავნე, მაგრამ ხა დავკარგე ისა Zoom-ი. არა, Zoom-ი აქ არის, არაფერი არ დამიკარგავს. I'm so sorry. This is my poor skills.
How many do you want to send me by email what you have, and I can show it on the screen?
I will send it to Mia.
Okay. So I make Mia presenter?
Mia, may you say
Okay, we can do that. No problem. You see, it's part of what I teach. When you have a problem, you don't look at the problem. You look at the solution and you stay calm.
Yes.
So that's a very good way to not have a problem. And it's a good example. So now, Mia is co-host.
I'm so sorry.
No problem. Mia, you are co-host.
ესე იგი თქვენ ამას ვერ ხედავთ, ხო?
You received the email?
Share.
გამომიგზავნეთ?
მიაზე, აი ახლა ვაგზავნე, მია. Share, გამოგიგზავნე. აბა ნახეთ.
მეილზე ჯერ არ მოსულა.
გაგიზიარეთ Google Drive-იდან. Excuse me, please.
Okay.
Excuse me.
We are on time. We are good with the time.
არ მოსულა.
Anna, your daughter is better? Anna, your daughter is better?
მოვიდა ხო?
Yes, she is.
Little bit of water and salt?
She's already, she's using one of those dental mouthwash.
Yeah, okay. Well, mouthwash could be less good than salt on the water.
Yeah. I'll give her some salt water.
Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Make it full screen.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Before I start again, please receive my apologies.
It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah. And then I cannot help it. I should say that I was so happy to hear the language that I love most of all. It's el idioma español. I love this language, but I do not speak. I just, yo comprendo, no hablo. Now about my language of resilience. I have done a preliminary work, so it's not about the progress. It's more about the preliminary work that I managed to do. Mia, the next slide, please. So what I did, I tried to look into research, in academic research, to look into different so-called stress coping pages, to search for some practical advice, including social media. And you know what I did? Like my lazy students, I asked ChatGPT to prompt me about the language of resilience. Mia, next slide, please. I should say that literature is scarce, and there are not many meaningful articles that I could share with you. What I have found is that the two words, language and resilience, appear together in different contexts and with different implications. Mia, next slide, please. Language and resilience is sometimes meant as language for resilience for refugees, resilience for refugees through mastering the local language. And there are lots of articles about this, but this is not the topic that I was looking for. Please, next slide. Then I found an interesting article, but it's, again, it is not our focus. It's about endangered languages, and resilient language means the language that can revitalize, so not to disappear. Mia, please, next slide. And the last but not the least was the topic that we are interested in. It's empowering and encouraging words and or talks. Talks to, it's maybe inner speech, it may be talking with other people, it may be some narratives, it may be some oral histories. Mia, please, next slide. I found two interesting articles. One was from Kiev, written, I guess, before the war. It is called Enriching the Coping Behavior Repertoire and Motivation of the Unemployed Using Metaphors. And it's an interesting article. They are using metaphors from the field of, you know, predicting future, like cards of tarot and also astrology, and have very interesting results. The experiment, the article is based on data of 60 unemployed. Mia, next slide, please. And another interesting article, which was just to the point, which was something that I was looking for. It was about the holistic model, about which maintains language, consciousness, and inner speech together. And this model implies that language deeply penetrates in every part of the human brain. The article is interesting not only because of its holistic approach and reviewing the whole brain, but also the author is taking into consideration the specific areas, language areas of like Broca Center, Wernicke Center, and it's really very interesting article, and I'm going to look deeply into it. This will be one of my theoretical basis of our research on language of resilience. And yeah, the article is called "A Voice Without a Mouth, No More: The Neurobiology of Language and Consciousness." And it was published in 2022.
It's a good find.
It's a very good article, and it deserves to be very detailedly revised. It deserves to be revised in details. Jeremy Skipper is the author. Next slide, please. Then I went to social media, to LinkedIn and other sources, and found 2 web pages about language of resilience, which says something that we also believe, that language of resilience is optimistic, assertive, definitely one you can use to coach yourself in the midst of a stressful event. Pay attention to how you speak out loud and what you repeat in your head. Write down words, work on verbalizing the less negative options. Stay on this resilience communication regime until the storm passes. You are the only one who can make it happen, writes one of the authors of this social media page. And the next one. Then she writes also about that we need to consider our ability to build resilience, a bounce back from adversity as a journey and not a destination. And here I not completely agree with the author. Next slide, please. Next slide. I do believe that building resilience is both a journey and a destination. It's a process and result. It's something that has these 2 heads, the process and result, the journey and the destination. Next slide, please. But I will see what will. What ChatGPT answered me when I asked about empowering tools. So ChatGPT answered that they could be words and phrases, metaphors, and images also. First word that ChatGPT prompted me was strength. Next slide, which emphasizes inner power and fortitude. Hope encourages optimism and future orientation. Next slide, Mia, please.
Sorry.
Next slide.
Yeah.
Courage highlights bravery in the face of adversity. Next slide, please. Perseverance stresses ongoing effort despite obstacles. Growth focuses on development and learning from experiences. And the last and not the least is support. Support conveys the importance of community and help from others. Thank you, Mia. And next slide, please. So I think that our research will focus on empowering metaphors, and I will say later what do I mean by metaphors. First, it's images and cards, this iconic means, which generously was shared with me by Dr. Mayer. I also would like to see psychotherapeutic metaphors, especially my favorite one, and also to look into literature and poetry, because in some of sources, there were also references to literature and poetry. Next slide. So, A Voice Without a Mouth, No More, the neurobiology of language and consciousness will be the one of theoretical assets Next slide. Mind-focused coaching, gateway to mindful choice, generously, as I mentioned, advised and shared with me. And thank you. I'm very grateful to Dr. Mayer. And next slide, please. And I mentioned poetry, and the first that came to my mind was Kipling and his If, because I think that it's a very powerful poem that, you know, my experience when I was younger.
Me too.
And
Me too.
I always took the book, and there are very good Russian translations, not so good Georgian translation, but Russian translation is beautiful, of Kipling. And I was reading this poem, and it gave me some strength in my hard young times. Next slide, please. And now I would like to share with you my my favorite metaphor, psychotherapeutic metaphor. You can read it, and when you come to the end of the slide, Mia will change the slide and show the next. Can we go ahead?
Yeah, next slide.
Next slide.
Next.
Next. Next, Mia, please.
Very poetic.
Before I thank you for your attention, I would like to share with you my future plans. First of all, I would like to work with a group of psychologists and linguists and to test on them how powerful, or are they powerful indeed, these metaphors, such metaphors, some of poetry pieces, and also I would like to see how this mind-focused, iconic images could be used for enhancing resilience as the language of resilience. I would like ask linguists and psychologists to give me their associations with this, and also what bodily sensations they have when they hear or they look at images, or when they hear these metaphors or words. Now I'm at the stage of working on instructions and choosing the materials, and I would be happy to share with you in the nearest future, even if I have the first signs of progress. I will definitely share it with you. Thank you
so much. Thank you so much.
And I would be happy if you ask me questions or if you give me some advice.
Anybody have question? I have few things to say.
Yeah.
I have few things to say, but anybody, Annunziata, Koti, Anna, Mia, you have any remark or anything to say? You are muted. You are muted.
Manana, thank you
Yes.
for this wonderful presentation. It was very, very good, interesting. I loved the also about the poetry. I have so many experiences about that. In the Holocaust, it was people that nourished themselves only remembering good poetry. It was like to nourish the soul. So I love this about the pyramid. I think it's so powerful, the vision, and we can live through this passages for living that. Very, very good. I wanted only to ask you, when you said about the language, the power of the language to penetrate every part of the human brain, it includes cognitive therapy, of course.
Yes.
Yes.
It includes.
Okay.
It includes. You know, I will be happy to, if maybe next time or after 2-hour meetings, to present this article in more details, because it's really very interesting.
Yes.
The author revises the steps in with this his hypothesis of the whole holistic approach, whole brain, and then he does not you know, and at the same time he doesn't ignore these local areas of specific modalities of brain. And so I think it would be interesting to discuss, and I would be happy to hear your suggestions.
Okay, Annunziata, before you leave, you have a question? No question?
No, sorry.
Ciao. Ciao. Mille
Ciao.
grazie. Mille grazie. Anna, any question, any
you.
remark?
Thank you.
No, I have. So, number one, I would like to receive it because I will react to the PowerPoint and I will make you on the different slides some remark. Something which struck my mind is from the get-go, we should say that the language of resilience is not just with words. And I think
No,
we need, and we should put that at the very beginning, that language is not just word, because
no,
it could be sound, it could be a music, a soothing music, it could be vibration,
exactly.
it could be the noise of the river, of the water on the rock, something like that. So I think we need to show at the beginning the different type of language. And then
Okay.
we go in the different one. Now, a big
Yeah.
language,
Uh,
which is, yes, a big language
You
to
know,
me.
I like, but I will make it more visible.
Yeah, but on the communication, as we say that, it just came to my mind. We should not be holistic, but holistic with a W, because the language of resilience is depend to communicate with others, but also intrapersonal communication. So you communicate with yourself. And eventually,
Yes.
you need also to communicate with the higher world, higher power, because it gives trust and it gives hope. So I think communicating with whom is a very important element, because you can communicate with yourself or communicate with others. So I think it was, when you spoke about to revitalize, it come to my mind that I have found that in resilience, there is a need to consider resilience, and it's very similar to the situation of environmental protection. And in the resilience, you need to have a concept also of sustainability, because the sustainability is not to do too much, because if you do too much, it will not help you to grow. So the concept of sustainability, which is to maintain the energy in a good time and manner to be able to perdurate. Because the question is not to survive an episode, but to continue life. So I think the concept of sustainability can be attached to that, the part of system. Now, I think the sign language should be also interpreted, because I would like to know how the people who do sign language, how do they express resilience? How do they express the element of VUCA, anxiety, on those things? I think that would be very fascinating to be what sign they do with the hand. Another thing is, by thinking at that, it shows me that there is a universal, it's called the universal emotion. There are 8 that you can read on the face. And there is a wheel of emotion. On the wheel of emotion, on the emotions, because in 100 milliseconds, you can see immediately on the face, independently of what country. So you can recognize emotion on the face before the word. And the language of resilience is to be resilient on your face. Because if you say, don't worry, but you show a face, which is a face which is tense, showing that you are afraid, your word don't pass. So I think we should include the facial expression as a language. And also the body expression, and also the body. If I touch you and I tap you on the shoulder, it will have a benefic effect if it's done the right way at the right moment. So there is also, because for people before trauma, I tell them to prevent PTSD, you tell them to touch themselves. They touch their arm, they touch their leg, but that loop is bringing resilience because it reassures that their body is complete. So now it prevents a PTSD. It's one idea. On the biggest I love your poem about Kipling because it was in my bedroom and it would help me to try to become a man. So I love it particularly. But with time, I have discovered, and we spoke about it with our colleague in Ukraine that we train to our method. And they say when there is a siren, they take with them the book of Viktor Frankl, A Man in Search of Destiny. And I think we should look at in the book of Viktor Frankl, because there is something. And what he was saying is very powerful. This situation will not define me. I am me, which is, by the way, internal locus of control, no matter what.
Yes.
And I think we have some interesting things in the book of Frankl to put in the language of resilience. Now,
Searching for a new meaning language.
but
They go together.
You touch a point very sensitive to me because, of course, in the type of psychology we do, we only use metaphor. In the type of, and we do metaphor on the icon are metaphor. Because guess what? The icon we have here, the text does not explain the icon. The icon explains the text. So now we have it also translated in Hebrew, in French, in Spanish. We have English. Soon, I know that Salome will be working for Georgian. Maybe that's part of a project you might be interested to have a look at it too, to make sure that the text we have correspond to what the accessible to the Georgian concept. But the icon, and I have an article I will send you on iconic communication, because you have also a storyboard with icon. You have a way to communicate with color. I need to send you something about iconic communication. I will send to all of you on the WhatsApp.
Thank you.
Communication. But, and that's my last word on that, we need to not just speak about resilience in general, but we need to bring it back in the context of VUCA. And we need to bring it back in the context of the 5 elements that we are studying, because resilience, and we see that you were not here when I was explaining that. We had a group at ResWell, the last meeting. They were speaking about resilience in Israel, in the Baltic, very interesting. But they did not realize that the problem was not the war. The problem is VUCA world. And the people are not coming back from a situation of war to peace. No, they are transitioning from a situation of war to in the middle of a washing machine called VUCA. And we need to appreciate the element of VUCA to be able to speak about what type of resilience are we talking about. Because 6 months ago, very few people speak of resilience. And I think we start to be pretty efficient, because now many people speak about resilience.
Yeah.
So we need to be more specific. And by the way, I wanted to announce that today we passed 31,000 members of the Mental Wellness Society, where we have 2 million views a month of message about resilience that we have in the Mental Wellness Society. So we need to become now, at the beginning, we needed to say, resilience is a skill you can learn. Right. Now we have to say, particularly for VUCA, this is the way to go. I think we will be so much more powerful to stick to our metrics in VUCA. I will send you the metrics, because I don't think you have it, Manana. So I will send you the metrics. But, and with the metrics, I think it's a good way to look at the resilience, and we will find words So the matrix, I will put it now for you to see. You will understand better. We are talking about this matrix. The matrix, we need to find words in volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, which shows, for example, do you have anxiety? Sometimes, often, never. Do you have problems to concentrate? Sometimes, never. Irritability, resentmentness. That, if they say yes to that, they have a problem with volatility. And we can say, by the way, have you seen you have increased heart rate? You have this, you have that. Okay, so we know how to help you. Uncertainty, sense of powerlessness. It's challenging to make decisions or plan the future. This is a language of resilience, because we want to know if they have that problem or not. So maybe we need to use it in better words, but those words have to correspond to the symptom that we see. Because these are the symptoms, and we could say that these here are the disease. But that we need to come back on what we do to that thing. Okay? What do you think, Manana? What do you think, Manana?
I have to think about this. Yes, I like the idea. We should use this.
Okay, good.
And then
If I remember well, I propose to work and be part of your team for the language of resilience. So
yes,
I am available whenever you want to work with you on that. But you are providing us with a very good backbone, and you really give us something to react and to expand from there. So I want to thank you because it's very useful.
Thank you for your comments. They are really, I appreciate that. What I want to say is that, you know, I have come across one article about sign language. And I put it, you know, in my folder to look into it. So I will look into it too. It was related that, you know, from the extract, the author says that exploring the sign language will give us ideas how language acquisition process is going on in children.
Yeah.
So it somehow corresponds what you said, because how sign language expresses
and actually more than text and article about sign language, what will be very interesting is to ask teacher of sign language to show you the signs they do for that word or that word or that word. Because, for example, volatility, I would like to put the sign language for volatility. I would like to put the sign language for uncertainty. Because it's in universal language.
Yes. Yes, it's very interesting to investigate. And I would also go back to what do you think? I am interested in your opinion. What do you think about my idea to ask this group of linguists and psychologists about associations, this association that the words that the language that we demonstrate through iconic cards. What associations are they? What linguistic associations they have in different languages?
Yeah, okay, good idea. And I have the people to whom to ask.
Yeah, it would be very interesting to see.
Okay. Well, I have to go.
Yes, Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And let me know when you want to work on those things.
Yes, it's
Okay,
just
Mia.
preliminary.
We
Mia,
need,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
thank you so much. Mia, you see today that we need to keep every 4 weeks, the every fourth Thursday, not the sixth, not the fifth, because
Okay,
we
goodbye.
bye-bye. We also need to keep the same house. For example, different people could not at that time. So I guess we need to push it later at a better time. And we need to know what is the best time. Maybe we need to make a census that we can do when we send the recording of today.
Sorry, what did you say? Last thing?
We might need to make a census to know what is the best time to meet with everyone.